Hello there, and welcome back to Around the Grid. Today we are gonna finally continue. Again, apologies for a few uploads. The last couple of weeks been a little bit busier. This next week should have me have a lot more free time. So you should be able to enjoy daily uploads. That's going to be the goal, at least. With that said, however, we are going to continue where we left off. And because it's been a while, I'm just going to give myself a refresher, and I'm going to give everyone else also a bit of a refresher where we stand. Currently, did 26 points out of Red Bull. We have a quite larger advantage in the championship. Sargent here is the most stable of our unstable duo, I guess we could say. And currently, yeah, Schumacher is kind of the reason why Red Bull is still in this fight. In terms of our car, I believe we did have a little bit of an incident last time out. In this case, we do need to manufacture new side pods, and we're going to get that done. We do have the summer break on... we do have the break on our hands here, so I think we will be fine with that. Shouldn't actually be an issue. And honestly, here we do have quite a lot of parts that we do need to manufacture. In particular, the chassis here is missing, so we should probably get 2 of these cooking as well. We are fine for the most part, I believe. No, we're not actually fine in any sort of shape here. So let's just quickly go through, see what the car has, and what we can actually kind of change up here. But honestly, I'm just going to go through summer here. We're going to try and get ourselves back to a acceptable parts situation, because right now we don't actually have spares. Like, we have 1 spare suspension and 1 spare rear wing. That's it. That's completely unacceptable and a pretty bad place to be in. But our car is amazing. Let's face it, we're the best DRS, tire preservation, cornering. We're lacking top speed. But yeah, let's face it, that shouldn't be a huge issue in this situation. Also, our affiliates are doing basically all the engagement that we need any period here. Hauge gives us almost 3,000, so we can avoid a lot of negatives that way. But yeah, for the time being, we are still developing the car. We are getting some chassis done, some underfloor, side pods, and suspension. And honestly, we are probably going to try and do 2-3 research projects towards the end of the year. But right now, it's kind of unfortunate to say this, but if I want to win both championships, I think we still need to upgrade the car a little bit. Red Bull is just a little bit too close here. Williams is also very strong. So if we have just a couple of bad DNF sessions, which can definitely happen with this lineup, we could put ourselves in a bit of trouble. But for now, we're going to get some designs done. I don't think we're going to be doing anything with the ones that we currently have running. The underfloor here, we're not going to do anything with these. Basically, once these finish, I'm just going to start another one very similar to the ones that we have. I will have to take a look, though, and see where we use our CVD time, because I forgot. I used to keep notes before, but, well, busy times lead to sloppy work, and I do apologize for that. But that is what it is. Let's just jump into this, have some fun, and see how the next couple of races pan out for us. So here we are. We reached the end of the summer break, and it's actually been kind of an interesting scenario because we've lost one of our affiliates, but we've also lost one of our drivers. Schumacher will be driving for Kick Sauber next season, and that is, to me, a little bit interesting because I did actually try to renew his contract, give him pretty substantial, new contract. We've also given Sarge a new contract. We're trying to poach him as well. He now has 2 years left, so that should be okay. But basically, both of our drivers were almost poached, and that is a little bit interesting to me. We also lost a lot of our enthusiasm because a lot of the mentality boost that we had, if you want to look at it from that perspective, was actually from race results. And because it's been basically 3 weeks now without a race, we do lose that buff, and we are going to have to get a couple of good results to get that back. But yeah, both Sargent and Schumacher were both attempted to be picked up by the team. In this case, Schumacher did. He's going to kick Sauber, who is currently in 6th place, not doing too shabbily. But I like to go from the best team, well, currently the team that is winning, to 6th place is definitely a downgrade for him. And honestly, I don't remember exactly who is driving for Sauber right now. So let's just take a quick look here. It is Hulkenberg and Danny Rick. So I kind of understand then why Sauber is going to need a new driver. One of these guys are probably going to retire. I think that makes a lot of sense. Now, on the other hand, because of the fact that Schumacher is retiring, we kind of do need to find... Well, he's not retiring, but he's leaving the team. I'm still tired, let's just put it like that. But yeah, he is leaving the team. We do need to find a replacement for him. And honestly, I am kind of tempted to have a look. Now, it's going to say not interested in a lot of these drivers, and that is purely due to the fact that it's a race weekend. But basically, there's a lot of options there. We even have Fernando, we have Hamilton, we have Piast or Rivas here. It's actually going to Mercedes. Okay. That could be huge, actually. He's going to Ferrari. I shouldn't spoil it too much. I'll figure out who we want to replace Mick with. Worst case scenario, Perez gets the season here. And then the AI can figure it out. But yeah, next season could be fire, because at this rate, we're going to be playing Mercedes. Either Mercedes or Ferrari in what would be the 4th season of this Around the Grid challenge. They've fallen from grace quickly, and that is kind of surprising. But not too... Well, it happens, let's be honest. Now, as I mentioned too, we actually have one new party that is fairly good, and that is the suspension. It had gotten some CFD usage, and in this case, we are going to get quite a lot of gain here on the top speed. We're going to go up 8 places, and we're getting an extra 7% tire preservation. So this is actually going to be a pretty huge upgrade for us. And in particular, also, we do get some cornering on the as well. But the tire preservation, top speed there are going to help out with some of our weaknesses. And now the car is 15 top speed. First and everything but dirty air tolerance and cooling, which again we can kind of live with. And hopefully we'll be able to get the last remaining top speed as well. I am still just doing the same kind of designs that I have been doing. Chassis, underfloor, sideboard and suspension. We'll put in a little bit more work there. But these next couple of races are going to be telling us whether or not we can potentially start doing a little bit more of... a little bit more research to make our life a little bit harder next year. But yeah, I think we are ready here. 18 to high is the expectation of Schumacher. He has the best car on the grid. So I think we'll beat those expectations handily. Let's see what the Netherlands has to offer. Things are getting spicy already here in qualifying, with Sainz having a bit of a moment. And not really destroying the rear wing. Definitely picking up a little bit of damage. And that is not going to be good for the Red Bull team. Now, he hasn't actually set a time yet, so we could see Sainz out here in Q1. It is a rainy qualifier, it is 6 minutes remaining, and that is damage to the rear wing. So that should, by all means, be Sainz out here, I do believe. And that is going to make things a little bit spicy. Verstappen is also a full second behind Yamamoto here, so it's not looking too amazing right there. And in terms of the laps that Schumacher is setting, purple sector 1, purple sector 2. He's going to set a purple sector 3 as well. Top of the timing table. I thought he was 1.5 seconds ahead of Sargent there for a little while, but that's a pretty good start to this weekend for us. Hamilton, Leclerc, Alonso, all out in Q1, with Sainz starting at the back of the grid this weekend. Tough start for the Red Bull team. So Netherlands is actually giving us a bit of a freebie here in qualifying. We have qualified first and second. And if you look at the times here, 16.7 versus 19.3. Basically, everyone else did 1 run. We did 2 run, one towards the end of the session when it was drying up. And the AI failed to do said run. We have Yamamoto and Verstappen right behind us though, so it's not all good. But definitely a little bit of a freebie here, and we'll happily take it. I'm not gonna lie. Now, we did also have a second incident in quali that involved George Russell. He caused a red flag in Q2, didn't set a time, and that's not good for my old ATG team. But, honestly, I can't really complain about how things have gone so far this weekend. It is a freebie. It's a little bit, you know, bullshit to be fair, but it is an AI issue, and there's not really much I can do about it. In terms of strategy around here, generally this track will be eating your tires quite aggressively, I might add. So this might actually be a good strategy as it turns out. I might want to switch things around so that we start on the medium tire. Sorry, not on the medium, on the soft tire. Let's see here what we can do. We only have 1 soft tire. Okay. I assume that is because both practice and quali were wet. and that does cause a little bit of a problem. And it's not going to be only us that have this problem with tires. This might actually be what every single one of the cars are going to do. If we take a look here, we sent back 5 sets of soft tires. We have 3 mediums and 2 hards. Oh, it's very rare to have 3 mediums and 2 hards, and that kind of wants me to do... sorry. That makes me kind of want to do something funny. Now, Sergeant, it does not have the benefit of 3 mediums and 2 hards. He has 2 softs, so we can kind of do a little bit more standardized, if you will, strategy with him. I still think we just run 2 softs on light, and then we go into an aggressive medium, something like that. Should work out just fine. And if we compare his expected time doing this, 26.7, 26.27, versus what is Schumacher's 26.33. The 2 softs do seem to be quite a lot quicker, but I kind of do want to mess around with hards. But already here you can see that this isn't going to really help us at all. And just running a hard normally is a terrible idea around this place. You're just going to be a lot slower. So while it could be, again, fun to just experiment with, it's not going to pan out. You need softs around here. You need to take care of them to kind of maximize your time. And it is unfortunately just how things are. So it is what it is. We'll deal with it. I think we could also maybe benefit from just running the mediums on standard like this, because it is estimated to be a full second slower. Yes, but it's just a second. And here's the thing. If I run attack for 2 or 3 laps at the end of both of these stints, I'm going to earn back that second and more. Now, running light, you could argue this would lose too much time, and I agree. But running normal here and having this much tire left at the end of the stints, it's going to allow me to run attack. It's going to allow me to be more aggressive. And yeah, a second is more than worth the potential loss of time. And we might even do that for Sergeant here too. But as you can see, switching him over is going to cost us close to 3 seconds. So maybe not. And to be fair here, we might just... yeah, we can actually make this work a little bit better here in the same way that we did with the other car, where we can now run a little bit of attack and the last few laps on these softs and earn that time back. So you do have some considerations like that, but this is what we're going to do. And of course, since we're taking care of our tires, underfueling is going to be a must. So let's just get that sorted and underway. And honestly, I don't think there's really much to do here. We just need to manage. We have a tire preservation advantage. That should make this race very much go in our favor. And because of the fact that we already had a couple of crashes, I can imagine that we might have a safety car to shake this one up. So I see a lot of soft tires. I see 1 medium and maybe 1 medium back there, which is going to make things a little bit spicy. But a decent enough start from our boys. Schumacher a little bit slow out the grid, off the starting grid, which is fine. Does lose that position. That is a little bit bad. But I still think that we'll be managing fairly good here. And honestly, if he just gets a podium, I'll be happy. Yamamoto, just stat-wise, isn't really a fair fight with either of our drivers. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, so far Sargent's pulled over a second ahead, and it looks very, very promising. So let's see how things look a little bit further down the line. For now, it's already looking great. As I mentioned, I expected an incident here, and it didn't take long until Sainz and Russell had a little bit of an incident involving both of them, which is, again, great for us, but not great for these two. Looks like maybe he picked up a little bit of front wing damage, but otherwise it should be fine. Russell has a puncture, and again, it's just the start of the lap, so he's gonna probably be a lap down by the time he gets to the pits, and that's gonna be pretty horrible, not gonna lie. Now, in other news, we have definitely fallen backwards here. While the others have been pushing their tires, we have been kind of falling backwards. It is expected. Schumacher just hasn't been able to defend. He's now 9 seconds off the lead. Well, 6 seconds if you count Sargent, so he has lost out a little bit here in terms of time. But hopefully now that the other drivers are going to start taking a little bit more care of their tires, we'll be able to close that gap down again. And Yamamoto has just overtaken Sargent and ran away. So, while qualifying went our way, the start here has been a little bit rougher than we thought it would be. By lap 14 here, we already see Verstappen coming into pit, and luckily for him, he manages to come out kind of ahead here of a big train. If he'd come out behind Ocon and Leclerc, he would probably be losing a lot of time. But because of where he came out here, he should probably have an easy time climbing back up. Now, as I mentioned here, everyone else has destroyed their tyres. A lot of these guys are going to be pitting, Piastri in particular here. But we have Albon, Hamilton, Norris, we have Rivas here who are going to stay out like Rivas and potentially be a little bit of a slowing force here for the cars behind us. And that would be pretty good if it works out that way. Schumacher is basically back up into 6th place here, 5th place with this overtake because 2 cars ahead have pitted. So, while it's not looking amazing, it is looking a lot better now as the others have decided to jump into the pits. Basically, quite a lot earlier than we will. So let's see if we can keep this up until we get to our own pit stops. We have now reached the time when we're going to pit, and as you can see, the gap between Sargent and Schumacher is just 11 seconds. Yamamoto has closed the gap down to 14 seconds after pitting, but has used quite a bit of those mediums, 23%. Verstappen's used 35%. And if we take a quick look here at the consideration for pitting, it's just 21 seconds. So in theory here, we've actually gained quite a lot here on Verstappen for Sargent. He's looking very, very good on that. For Schumacher, it's going to be a little bit of a different story. He needs to hopefully get out ahead of Show. We can only hope. And for Sargent here, I've also decided to change up the order of the stops. So basically, we were supposed to go soft, soft, medium. I've changed that to a medium mid-stint. And the reason why is very, very simple. If we have a red flag or anything causing problems, then having an extra fresh soft laying around can be very, very helpful. So we'll keep that up for a little bit longer. We have both cars coming into the pits right now. Clean 2.4 for Schumacher. Plenty of time there. He gets a clean 2.2. And Sargent here does barely get out ahead of Verstappen. And Schumacher here does come out ahead of Show, but he does have a little bit of a speed advantage, let's say. And he almost does get that overtake done. But with Bottas, Verstappen, and Tsunoda all having destroyed their tyres pretty much at this stage already, we should be seeing our boys having a fairly simple time getting back up onto the podium places. At least that's what I hope. Let's see if it actually turns into that in reality. Hello there, Darkness, my old friend. I've come to speak with you again. So Schumacher has once again crashed, but I don't know who I want to blame that one on. I kind of agree with Shumi there. The overtake maybe came in a little bit too aggressive, but that's a story for a different time. Schumacher now has been kind of put out of contention, and it's through no fault of his own. Let's be honest here. We're going to have to pit here. We're going to have to replace that front wing. It has terminal damage. But before we do that, I just want to have a look here at the car, see if anything else suffered. ERS, gearbox, both are fine. We replaced these before the race weekend. And minor damage to chassis and suspension isn't great. But I think this is one of those situations where it warrants for it, or rather it would be a good idea for us to continue the race. It's gonna suck. It's gonna be really, really bad for us. I'm not gonna lie. But there's no point here in setting this one out. I think Schumacher still can get a couple of points. And with how close the championship is, we definitely need it. And we're actually coming in behind here the Aston, who's incredibly slow and losing us even more time. And we even picked up the penalty, so we have been punished for our transgressions. We do not serve that penalty right now, at least, so that is good. But yeah, that is not a that's not a good thing, picking up a penalty like that. So I guess Schumacher was at fault, which makes this even worse. He now also has very low confidence, so we'll turn him down to rarely defend and low overtake aggression. And our journey back into the points is going to be 40 seconds to get it up there. To be fair, everyone also still needs to do 2 pit stops with the exception of Stroll and Show. So 20 seconds, give or take, to get back in the points. 5 seconds of time penalties. We need to earn half a minute in the remaining 43 laps. Let's see if we can make that happen, or if Schumacher here just might have gotten himself in a little bit of trouble that he can't get out of, so to speak. Now, for Sargent, things looking good. Verstappen is kind of following him here, so I'm just going to put him on harvest for a little bit. Verstappen is on older destroyed tires. I don't want to be the DRS pulley for him, basically. So we're having Sargent just recharge here. Verstappen is still going to be following us. But after we get through the main straight DRS zone, I'm probably going to pull him on attack. And we're going to try and see if we can create a 1 second gap here. Unless we get overtaken. Looks like we are going to be okay. Maybe not. And Sainz actually comes out and blocks us. Ref. Ref. Get him. But yeah. A bit unfortunate. But honestly, it doesn't really change much. Verstappen still has destroyed tires. So what I can do instead now is just deploy and going into this DRS zone. And that should be enough that we'll just fly by and create quite a significant gap. Remember, we have the best DRS on the grid. And already there, 1 second gained. I believe Verstappen did actually lose DRS to us, and that is what I was hoping for here. Although he did gain on us on the straight. I think the gap should be formed here. For Sargent back to neutral, and for Schumacher, he has gotten an overtake on show. Confidence is going back up, but it's still basically going to be just a struggle fast to get back into the points there. So we'll see. Maybe, hopefully, what we can do here. Ocon having a pit stop issue is actually beneficial to us, but he's still going to be out ahead of us. So yeah, it's going to be quite a struggle here to get back up into the points, but we'll do the best we can. Yet another incident here. We now have a virtual safety car as Russell has found the wall again. Not the first time. And this is actually a little bit of a... We have to make a decision here. Because, well, you don't really save anything on a virtual. You can still take advantage. And honestly here, I can't see us do that, so we're probably not going to do anything here. But we do need to make the consideration if we should. And that is just an unfortunate crash there from Russell. Unfortunately. Apparently we're getting another angle, but we'll just skip that one. Sargent is currently quite far ahead of Immeasurable here, who's actually gone to a soft tire with 30 laps remaining. That's going to get very interesting because, as you can see, if Schumacher, we estimate a soft tire will just barely survive 30 laps. So that is going to be a interesting choice, to say the least. So with Sargent here, I think we are just going to have him save a little bit, try and get 15 to 20 laps on his soft. Because we do have gaps that we can take advantage of. Verstappen, Yamamoto, I think both of them are going to need to pit again. That's the thing. I can't see them making it till the end on those softs, and if they do, it would be a miracle. Because this is with running light. They'd have to run conserve. And yeah, I just don't see that happening. But now though, Schumacher has made it up to 16th place. He is still a good 30 seconds now off the points. So honestly, might be a better option here to just retire him. But we'll still give it a roll. We'll try the best that we can here. And hopefully we can turn it around and get at least 1 point here for our unlucky boy. So yeah, remember what I said about Yamamoto and needing to pit again? She has burned these tires down to 45%. Verstappen has kind of done the same. And both of them needed to pit after just 10-15 laps on these softs. So I would assume they're going to go medium till the end here. Kind of similar to us. So with Sargent having a 5-second advantage, we're just going to get him in. We're going to get him on these softs, and we're just going to run him light. And that's going to get the job done. For Schumacher, we're going to get him in on another medium. We have kind of burned this one a little bit further into the ground. And I'll have to see if we can actually run, how aggressive we can run in this final medium stint. Right now, we are still pretty far out behind. We are going to end up getting a lap. We are going to have to wait 5 seconds there to serve the penalty. And that's going to be... Let's put it this way. It's going to be a bit problematic because he's actually not more than 5 seconds ahead of... Yeah, This is kind of risky. So I'm going to say sorry, Schumacher, but I want you to pit next lap. And the reason for this is incredibly simple. If we look at the map here, this isn't 5 seconds, it's more than that. But remember, it's 5-second penalty, it's the pit stop. And if Schumacher gets a problem during the pit stop, that's going to hurt Sargent way more than, you know, anything else would. So I would rather have Sargent pit safely on this lap than have Schumi do the next to be on the safe side. And that is exactly what we are going to do here. Schumacher is going to be going under 30% on tires as a result of that. But that is genuinely a sacrifice that I'm willing to make just to ensure that we don't lose out too hard here. But yeah, so far it's looking incredibly good for Sargent. I don't think we can complain too much. And for Schumi now, who is going to be serving a penalty, let's see exactly where we get out here. Penalty is being served. Show has mechanical fault. Rick's mechanical fault has escalated. And we are now down into 18th place. And if we take a look here on the cars around us, everyone has pitted. It is now quite a lot of time actually up to Piastri. So still 25-ish, actually more than that. Probably close to 30 seconds to get up there. So it's not really looking like we can make this happen. On the positive side, though, Schumacher should have enough time to run full attack till the end. And that is exactly what we'll do. Try and make something go our way. As Yamamoto now has pitted, gone onto a soft tire. And we now have a safety car. The full safety car. Tsunoda, Albon, Hulkenberg, Gasly, huge winners here. Lawson and Stroll, by looks of it, having had a little bit of an incident. This kind of saves Sargent quite a bit, so we'll take that. For Schumacher, we don't have a soft tire we could jump into the pits for. We're just going to stay on the medium. But yeah, that's an interesting timing, because now we have Verstappen, we have Yamamoto right behind us. We have some pretty huge gaps here, 23 seconds to Verstappen. So that puts him back in contention, and if you remember at the start of this race, we kind of got screwed over hard. So we're going to have to manage. Verstappen is on a soft medium tire though, Yamamoto on a soft. And my voice is dying after a long day at both work and recording, so apologies for that. But yeah, this safety car is definitely not good for us. 15 laps to go here. I still think that we'll be okay, but still, again, not great. Not great, not terrible. This does give Schumacher a better chance of getting into the points, not gonna lie. He is still lapped though, and that is a problem. That's gonna actually just put him outside of the points. If he wasn't lapped here, he's the last car that was lapped. Then he might have had a much better chance here at getting something done. But as things look, he's not going to be given that opportunity. Which is very, very unfortunate. Also fairly lengthy safety car here. Schumacher is the first one that gets released. We're just going to go back to full attack deploy. And try and chase the cars behind us, behind back. There's not really anything else to do here. And I do want to take a look here. Not at Schumacher, but at Sargent. And just see, what can we do here with these tires? We can probably run full aggression. We can probably actually run full attack till the end. It's going to be really, really close. I think we just put him to standard. Honestly. I think we just put him to standard. We make sure that we stick with Yamamoto if she overtakes us. And then we try and manage. I've been pretty bad at that lately, let's be honest. But I think that is the best option that we have here. We do need to kind of try and get a tire advantage over the cars around us. We don't have that currently. So I'm actually just going to turn down to light. We'll try and, again, just stick with Yamamoto if we can. And then we'll take it from there. Can actually Schumacher make it all the way around to the back of the order here? I think he's actually going to do that. I thought the safety car was going to come in this lap, but it will not. And Schumi is full sending it. He's actually making it to the back of Rivas. That's actually insane. But we will definitely take that. 10 laps to go. Pretty interesting end here, not gonna lie. Bit unfortunate timing with the safety car. Also not gonna lie. But we are back underway. Good launch there from Sargent. And again, as I mentioned, we're just going to manage for the most part. Hamilton now too with a mechanical fault. Doesn't actually matter too much, I believe. He's going to be a little bit slower ahead of us. And we do actually have Rick and Hamilton here with very worn softs. Same with Ocon. So they could be in trouble before the end of this. And for Schumacher now, we are going to put him back up to high overtake aggression and neutral on the defense. And we'll see if we can get some work done here. I think it should be doable. Now, Sergeant Yamamoto has already created a gap for the cars behind, which is honestly great, but also a little bit dangerous, because it tells us that they are both very, very quick. And that is a bit of a concern. I'm not gonna be sugarcoating it here. Well, Schumacher, I'm gonna put him back up to harvest for a little bit here. We're gonna need energy if we want to make a pass. And for Sargent, we've already fallen behind Yamamoto here, quite aggressively, I might add. Immediately fallen back to Tsunoda. That's not great. That's not great at all. Yamamoto is just so much quicker than us that the safety car is actually going to kind of lose us the win here, I think. It's sad, but there's no other way of putting it, really. She's using more tire than us, but not by much. So yeah, bit of a sad state of affairs there, as Schumacher gets one position and hopefully another here. Tsunoda also gets the overtake done. Shouldn't come as a huge surprise. DRS. I think at this point we might just have to try and fight for second place. Going full attacker is also probably viable from here on out. Still going to be a little bit risky, but we're kind of forced on it. I think we'd go aggressive for probably in 1 or 2 more laps here. We'll just sit behind Tsunoda. Virtual safety car, another incident. Norris this time. Yeah, that might be it though for the race here. Bit anticlimactic. Norris runs very similar to Russell, but doesn't get turned around. But yeah, that might very well be what marks the end of this race here. 5 laps remaining. We're gonna do a little bit of recharging. If we get the overtake done here, or rather a short one, let's say 3 laps, then maybe we can do something. But it's definitely not looking very promising here for neither Schumacher nor Sargent. Although the VSC here is ending fairly early. Okay, we might still be able to make something happen here. Virtual safety car has ended. I don't believe we're going to have... We actually have DRS here. There we go. And with a little bit of back and forth with the DRS here, we might actually catch Yamamoto. So we're going to go ahead and deploy a little bit, and we'll just do a tiny bit of harvesting behind if we catch up. Right now, that is kind of unfortunate that we get overtaken by Tsunoda, but it's just life, if you will. And please, no. That's disappointing to see there, Shumi. I thought you had a double overtake lined up. And the reality of the situation was you didn't. But we are probably going to just enjoy the last few laps here from Sargent's viewpoint. We are going to be micromanaging him a little bit here. Oh, are we actually just going to slide by? I kind of want to see it from this angle now. Not really. 2 laps remaining. We have a full battery. It's time to deploy. Time to double check that we are on high overtake aggression, which we are. And we are just going to full send it. I've probably been a little bit too careful here with tire usage, but let's say the safety car plus virtual safety car has given us more tire than expected. That is just how things tend to work out. And right now, we do need to have a really aggressive overtake down the main straight. Just like this. Beautiful. Stay ahead. Good job. We're going to put him to neutral here. Because we don't have a lot of energy. Yamamoto is just going to be a little bit too quick, I think. We're going to have to use what little energy we have here to try and get within DRS. And honestly, we just don't have the speed to make that happen, as it turns out. Yamamoto is just this quick on pure driver skill alone compared to us who have the best car. Of course, she was very much helped by the... Oh, are we going to have a bit of a photo finish here? Nope. Sargent survives, second place. Schumacher down in 13th here after this incident is not great. Verstappen down in 4th is the only solace that we can bring out of this one. Yamamoto is going to get a little bit closer in the race here, unfortunately. But yeah, driver skills do matter quite a lot more than car in this game, as it turns out. We've seen that in the maximum weight challenge as well. And we're seeing it here. Yamamoto with the just insane skills that she has is definitely causing us a lot of pain. To be fair though, that safety car, virtual safety car, both of them played in her favor. So I can't be too upset. But we do lose some points here in the Drivers' Championship, which honestly is okay. It's not the biggest concern, which kind of sounds like a cop-out because it is. But at the same time, we gained some on Red Bull. We should have gained more. We might regret that at the end of the year, but that's just how things are. Sometimes they just don't go your way. Now let's take a look and see what we can do with the damage. Because let's face it, we already were kind of running on spares, and Schumacher has already put us back in that situation where we do kind of need more parts now. A chassis, a front wing, a sideboard, a suspension, and these were all just very, very new. We are already making that suspension. We're going to get it in 3 days, so we'll have one for Monza, but this was a pretty close one. So let's just get the car sorted. We are also going to get the underfloor design done here. We're just going to start another one right away. So let's just get to Monza. Let's see what we can do there. We're going to do the same for the chassis, just start another one. Now, this is kind of funny, but for Monza here, Ocon is in the lead. And for those of you who watched the latest maximum weight with Ferrari, Ocon outplayed me hard. And I'm getting flashbacks to Ocon again here. So this is scary. Let's try and not get put ourselves in a bad situation. Now, Sargent managed to claw his way up to a second place here, which is kind of insane, seeing that he has improvement all over the line. From 8 tenths to 4 tenths to 1 tenth. And honestly here, if we look at the cars following, all the way down to 6th here, there's just 4 hundredths between 5 cars. If we add Ocon into it, it's a little bit over a tenth from pole to 6th place. So it's a very, very close fight, and I like to see that. Now, Schumacher is just unfortunately slow. And again, this is just there's 2 reasons for this right now. He is not enthusiastic as Sargent is, so he doesn't have the same stats. He's just falling behind on driver stats. That's literally all that it is. There's not really much I can do about that, unfortunately. I need him to stay on track. Just one race, please. I beg of thee. And we're going to have rain, so I'm probably not going to get that wish. In theory here, we could also just stay on the Inters for the entire thing. That's an interesting prospect. To do the no stopper, if you will. I kind of want to do this though. It's supposed to be a lot quicker. We are going to need to clear cars to make this happen. It is a little bit of a gamble, but particularly for Sargent here, if we can get that initial clear done, it's going to be huge. Now, the main reason why this would be a terrible idea is because we don't have any dirty air tolerance, which you kind of need to do things in the wet because you don't have DRS to get overtakes done. You need dirty air tolerance in order to follow closely without destroying your tires and getting basically close enough to do an overtake. But I want to give this a go. It seems to be a very, very interesting proposition. We are going to underfuel, particularly on racing races. You should underfuel anyways because you're going to use less fuel than expected. So even by running light here, which we will for a while, we should still have plenty of fuel come the end of this race. So let's see how this one goes. It should be an interesting one. I don't know if this is really going to pay out. It's Monza. one stopper is generally the way to go here, and a no stopper probably if we're going to have inters for the entire race. But the funny wins out, the interesting wins out, and I want to see how this actually pans out. So let's jump into the race here. Let's see what's happening, and sorry if you hear that. A little bit of a playing, disco playing.
Here we go. It's the Italian Grand Prix.
But yeah, the Italian Grand Prix here. We are facing up against Ocon.
Away we go.
I need Sargent here. Honestly, Ocon being right next to us here could be huge. And the reason why it would be huge is that the Haas isn't super quick. It is somewhat quick, I'm not gonna lie. But you can see Lawson is down here in 15th. Ocon did something insane that he shouldn't be able to. And if we can clear him, he could be the ultimate showstopper. Unfortunately, not the greatest launch there from Sargent, unless we really send it into the first corner here, like a F1 lobby. Oh, are we gonna do it? Are we gonna F1 lobby it? Ah, we tried, couldn't get it done. Schumi did his own little lobby though against Show. I don't think he's gonna be able to stick it though. Still in 9th, but yeah, Sargent did try. Couldn't really complete it, and that is a little bit unfortunate. Are we going to try again here? We should. Couldn't really get alongside. Schumacher pulled off his move though, which is nice to see. But yeah, the prime thing here that we need to do is actually just to get this overtake done, and then we can run some more conserve. Track is damp, and in terms of the dampness here, it's actually going down, which is a little bit worrisome. Come on, get it done, please. I beg of thee. Good work. You're going to conserve now. But yeah, with Sargent now having cleared Ocon, hopefully, Ocon looks like he might be coming back. And he is. He's actually just going to retake that immediately. Oh, that's bad. But looks like we're going to get it back immediately as well. So probably going to be a little bit of back and forth here, but now we are ahead. It should help our temperatures a little bit. Around here, 105 degrees is the maximum. Schumacher is probably going to end up reaching that, which means we're going to have to turn him down. But even if we have to run aggressive, it should still be fairly quick around here. So we'll see exactly what we end up with a little bit later. For now, though, Sargent should be able to hold on. Hopefully, Ocon will do his job as a bit of a braking pad for the cars behind. And hopefully, this will be a good race for us. Let's see how this actually develops as Albon does get the overtake done. Maybe we might be able to protect Ocon here by just being a little bit in the way of Albon. And we almost got it done. Couldn't fully get it done there, unfortunately. But it almost worked out as we wanted. And right now, everyone is running full attack anyway, so doesn't really come as a huge surprise. Schumacher's found his way up to the 2 Red Bulls. But yeah, I'm going to allow some time to pass here, see where we settle in, and hopefully we can get a few points back in this race. Unfortunately here, by lap 15, we have actually been overtaken by Albon and Verstappen, so Sargent is not really having a good time. Schumacher has also somehow picked up underfloor damage while updating you.
This floor is pretty badly.
How did you do this? You definitely ran wide because you were running in like 8th place before this happened. Did you? Yes. It's not what you did. Why must you do this to me? Gasly's also picked up a mechanical fault and he has a terminal one, so he might be retiring. Schumacher is losing out a lot here compared to the cars around him, and that is kind of bad to see. Really bad to see. We now have a safety car as Gasly has parked on the track.
And safety car. Okay, recharge on.
And this is where I have to make a fun decision. We could pit here.
Just try and keep those tire temps in.
It's a 22-second pit stop with the safety car. That's going to put us pretty far down the order. But we could gamble with a pit stop. And if we do pit here, we can kind of stay on those tires till the end, I would think. Because again, we have a lot left here. Even if we're in full attack, we might actually be able to make that work until the end. We kind of can. We're going to lose about 8 seconds doing this compared to doing it regularly. But it is doable. Degradation is a little bit high, so we're probably going to have to do it like this. But I could see this working out long term. It's going to be a bit of a gamble, though. I'm not going to lie. Is it going to work, though? I think we gamble. I kind of want to gamble on this. It sounds pretty silly. Don't get me wrong. It sounds really silly to do this. But I kind of want to give it a go. It's still going to stay wet. We're going to get a lot drier period here. But people are going to need to take care of their tires for sure. This might even be a dry tire period. I don't think it's going to be that, but it could be. And if it ends up being that, it would actually be kind of insane. But yeah, I think we gamble on a pit stop here for Sargent and also for Schumacher. And we'll have to see what the rest of them do. Do Albon stay out or does he pit? Everyone is going to be pitting. And yeah. That is kind of what I expected. We could have Schumacher stay out and kind of try and block everyone. That could be, you know, a strategy that we could do. Sargent actually comes out ahead of Verstappen. So we jumped the Red Bull in the pits. That's nice to see. The question now is going to be how badly is Schumacher going to be stuck in traffic here. So, yep. Down to 18th. Okay, so we lost about 4 positions there for Schumacher.
Oh dear, that's...
He's not having a good time, is he? He's not having a good time at all. And again, for Sargent here, we'll turn him up to aggressive. For Schumacher, I think we're just going to have to gamble on another pit stop. Try and get as much done as we can. Pit basically halfway through this stint. And just try and make something happen. I don't see any other way of getting something out of this race for him. He was doing well. He was getting up to 7th to 6th place. And then he, I guess, ran over the curb. Picked up some underfloor damage. That's the only thing that makes sense. Why are you burning your tires, Sargent?
Safety car in this lap. So let's concentrate on what we need to do for the restart. Yeah, copy.
I need you to overtake and be a problem. And that honestly goes for both of you. Alonso has now picked up a mechanical fault. I guess we could have more safety cars here. We have Alonso, we have Tsunoda. We have some damage on Ocon, who has fallen off the... fallen off here a little bit. Can we now?
What's the track like?
The fact that the track is dry is going to make things a little bit spicier. We need to clear Albon to not burn our tires on this dry track. And I'm going to turn it down to standard just to try and manage the tires a little bit. We have a yellow flag here. Leclerc's had a bit of a moment by looks of it. And apparently we have immediately gotten re-overtaken here by Albon. But we have reclaimed fastest lap, or updated. I don't know if it was ever taken from us. But yeah, temperature-wise, we're in a little bit of trouble here. We'll have to see what we do with Schumacher. Honestly, it's going to be a struggle. That's the best way I can describe our current situation. It's going to be a struggle. Hopefully one that will come out of in a good, you know, better position than we are in right now. So we'll try and manage. That's going to be the goal here, manage. If Albon wins ahead of us, that's not a bad thing. We just need to beat the 3 cars behind. And the second I turn you down to line and take away your power, you do an overtake. That's kind of BM right there, Sargent, but good work. But yeah, I'm going to sit back, relax. I'm going to try and manage these tires a little bit. We're going to hopefully not pit again. If we can stay, you know, 2nd, 3rd, podium range, I think I'll be happy. But yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a hard time ahead of us here. I can see that for sure. 0.74 millimeter now, which means that we definitely do need to manage the tires quite drastically here. That's a... We're kind of leaving the door a little bit too open for my tastes here. The cars around us aren't using that much more of their tires than we are. Yeah, if I turn this up, we're just going to cook the tires because the water level is just so low. You can see it here on Schumacher too, just how badly we're cooking them. We're up to 114 degrees. But even then, I can't do this with Sargent. He's just going to destroy his tires. I'm surprised Verstappen, Albon, the rest there aren't destroying their tires more than they are. I kind of do want to take a quick look here at the current temperatures. 109 degrees, 106 degrees. They are overcooking them. Remember, it's 105 degrees. It's maximum here. So I think we'll just have to swallow the bitter pill here and just try and manage with Sargent. There's just no other way around this. The others are going to burn their tires a lot more. I don't think they're not really burning them enough for me right now. But as long as we remain in the dry area, we should be okay. And again, for Schumacher, we're just cooking the tires, but we're not seeing a big. Honestly, let's go full attack. We're not seeing a big punishment here from cooking the tires. I'm trying to think of it from a strategic perspective, but honestly, there is none. I just lost positions for nothing. But considering just my previous experience with cooking tires, I would expect these to kind of implode. And it just isn't happening. Now, for Sargent 2, the reason why we're losing position, it could also just be down to adaptability. So I think we'll do it a 50-50 here. We'll have Schumacher push. We'll have Sargent play a little bit safer. Adaptability would play a part here simply because we're running on a dry track with inters. So we might need to take a look at Sargent's adaptability after this race. We have another safety car. And who is it this time? Is it Lawson? Looks like it.
Safety cars.
And honestly, we're just going to stay out on this one.
Recharge on now, please recharge on. Stay just positive to the delta. Copy.
Let's do conserve here for both, just to try and
As positive as you can.
save some tires. But yeah, we're going to just manage for now. I think we'll have to see. We're probably going to again do another pit stop. But it's going to be kind of a hard thing to judge here. I don't know. I think the adaptability is probably playing a trick here on Sargent. We're now back to damp conditions. Let's see if things go a little bit better. With 15 laps remaining now, we are starting to see a little bit of an advantage from us saving tires over the rest here. Not a huge advantage, mind you. Yamamoto is most likely going to win this race as well. But enough that I think that we might be able to cause some problems for the Red Bulls. And that's going to be the main goal here, I think. We also do need, I think, to pitch Schumacher. He's burning his tires a little bit too quickly here. And let's face it, it's not really going to change anything in terms of this race. We could try and fight for Ocon's, 1 point here. But I think we're going to gamble on maybe getting another safety car. We have Alonso, we have Tsunoda. Both of these guys could cause a safety car at any given time. So getting Schumacher in now a little bit early could potentially allow him to jump quite high up, actually. It's not that far off the leader, just 13 seconds. So if we have a lucky safety car here after he pits and gets everything sorted, he's going to be a very, very happy camper. So it's a bit of a gamble. It's 1 or 2 points that he would have gotten here probably if I don't do this. So it's definitely a gamble that I will be happy to do, so to speak. Also going to do a little bit of top up here on Sargent, get some energy back because we're going to need it to get the overtakes done. And for Schumacher, it's going to come back out towards the back of the grid. But that is as expected, and he can now just burn these tires until the end of this race. But yeah, at this point, not really too much to do. Just manage, try and get some energy back, and then launch some attacks. We have a yellow flag that very, very quickly went away. But yeah, we'll have to see if we do get another incident. Schumacher is already closing down Alonso, and then he can hunt down Leclerc. And as I expected here, we do end up actually getting a safety car here. 10 laps to go, safety car deployed. Russell is out. I don't think Schumacher is going to win out too hard here. He's 35 seconds behind the grid. And if you take a look at time considerations, 22. So the safety car came a little bit too quickly for him here, but he's going to jump, most likely Danny Rick here. So he's going to get pretty far up the order. And the question I have to ask myself now is, do we gamble with Sargent? Do we gamble that 70% is going to be enough here and just go for position here? Is that going to be enough? I think I'm going to gamble by allowing Sargent to... Should I allow him to stay out? Honestly, I shouldn't. There's such a big gap down to Piastri here. Sorry, not down to Piastri. Down to Rick. It's 7 cars. I thought it was just a top 4 and we were the last one of the order. That changes things a little bit. It's 7 cars. I think we pulled a gamble here. I think we pull the gamble and stay out with Sergeant. It's gonna be rough either way. Let's be honest. It's gonna be rough either way, I think. Oh, Yamamoto stays out. If we pit, where do we end up? I think we're too late with the order anyways, but we'd end up somewhere around Bottas. That's a little bit too much. We're gonna stay out here. Everyone else is actually staying out. That's gonna screw over Schumacher quite a bit. So the hope that a safety car would force other drivers to pit did not come to fruition, unfortunately. But Schumacher now has a brilliant position here where he has a lot of tire to work with around basically a bunch of cars. So we'll have to see on the restart here if we can make something with that. And yeah, we'll have quite a tire advantage here for Sargent. Safety car is already ending too, so let's just get everything prepped. Everything prepped and ready for the restart. And what does the survey say here? Schumacher versus Hamilton and Leclerc, which is a weird lineup, no matter how you look at it. And it is just 6 laps remaining here, so we do need to be on our best behavior. And just get these overtakes done as quickly as possible. A yellow flag immediately here.
There's a yellow flag now.
One there for Sargent. It's just Alonso with a spin. That's acceptable. That's not going to cause any huge problems, per se. And we do need to clear Albon immediately here and start chasing down Yamamoto if we want to get anything done in terms of the championship fight. Go on then, full send it, Sergeant. You have a tire advantage. It should be enough to get the job done. To be fair, I do say that Schumacher too, and he has not really cleared anyone. There we go. We're going to put the energy usage here to neutral because I need it for when we catch Yamamoto. If we catch Yamamoto, more like it, because 2 seconds have been gained here. Tire-wise, we're very, very similar. Schumacher up into 14th now. Can he climb a little bit higher before the end of this? Do I have him on high overtake aggression? I do. Peak confidence should help as well. Getting that boom we've done on show up to 13th place now. And we might just get back into the points, hopefully. Sargent has closed down it by 2/10, but that is literally not enough. We're going to need a lot more. But Schumi here is maybe looking at 1 point. And honestly, Sargent might actually still make this work. He is gaining just about enough that we'll have chance to get 1 attack. And the battery is almost getting back to full. Okay, I think the last lap is kind of when we're going to have to do this. Temperatures are getting higher. But we have this lap and then the following lap to get the move made. And for Schumi here, he's kind of stuck. Again, dirty air does have a pretty bad effect on our car. I think we are just going to have to deploy a little bit here because it looks like we do have the chances of getting the attack done. If we get it done and then deploy, we should be able to keep the rest at bay. Yellow flag this time. Norris and Show, by the looks of it, has had their own little problem, if you will. Let's take a quick look before we see if we get the overtake done.
Norris here. Cutting it so close. And not just one car involved in that, as you can see.
Guess he just didn't leave any space there for Show. And that kind of backfired horribly as Sargent does get the overtake done. Albon overtakes his teammate. And that could actually be enough here that we'll be able to keep them at bay. Which would be huge. I'm just going to deploy with Schumacher. He doesn't really have anything to deploy with. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But we're going to try. and make something happen here. We could still have a crash that could, you know, put other cars out of contention, which would be huge. And Schumacher here now versus Stroll for the final point, which is honestly probably a little bit more hype fight than fight out front. That one seems to be already settled. Come on, Schumacher, I need you to make this happen. Even without your battery. I think we're getting it done, lads. But yeah, Sargent here is going to pull off a bit of a surprising win. Definitely helped a little bit by that safety car and taking care of our tires. Schumacher is unfortunately not going to be able to get Stroll. Ends up 11th. Yamamoto end up 2nd. Verstappen 3rd. Albon 4th. And Sainz 5th. Should mean that they catch quite a lot on us in the championship here. Or basically score close to equal. But yeah, Sargent continues this good run. Yamamoto gets fastest lap to lessen the damage. And we have a little bit of a sandwich going on here that's worrisome. Ocon unfortunately falls down to 7th place here. Loses 6 positions. And Daniel and Stroll somehow finds themselves in the points. Mercedes scored their first point of the season with Stroll. What is this timeline? But yeah, driver's done. As you can see, Sargent is retaining a pretty healthy lead here of 80 points. Constructors, we actually scored the exact same amount of points as Red Bull, so not as bad as I thought it would be. But Williams did gain on us, so we could definitely be looking at a 3-way fight here towards the end of the season. But yeah, Schumacher continues his run of disappointment, unfortunately. And there's not really much I can do about that. We're just going to have to hope that he gets better. But at least his mentality is enthusiastic, even if he's unhappy with, well, the current situation. So at least it's not all terrible. Underfloor missing. Again, we don't have enough underfloors. Why do you keep on breaking the things that we don't have a lot of? We are manufacturing a new one we're going to get in a day, so it's not going to be a huge deal, but still. That is a bit frustrating, that whenever we have something new, he just breaks it immediately. You are very unfortunate, Schumacher, and unfortunately you are disappointing me. And it is making this a lot harder than it should be, I'm not going to lie. But we'll continue this next time. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you still enjoyed. Apologies for the lack of videos lately. I've, again, just been very busy. But that should subside, at least for a little bit in this coming week. So I'll try and build up a little bit of a backlog. But yeah, thank you again very much. I appreciate all your support, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye-bye.